Tong, Hope, Marvel, and I went down to Yunnan province for the 9-day holiday. We stayed in Kunming, the capital, for a few days before going to Lijiang. We stayed in Lijiang a little longer than expected because it was a cool city. Our plan was to then go to Tiger Leaping Gorge, but I got sick and couldn't go, and this is where we left off. With 20 minutes to spare, we were feeling rather defeated. But with the tiniest bit of hope, no pun intended, they took off running and caught a taxi to the station where they actually caught their bus.
And here we make the uphill trek. Starts off as a road and turns into that. In the distance, goes all the way up into the clouds. So I'm kind of freaking out, but I am really excited, and let's get this done. Let's do this.
Meanwhile, I went looking for another inn, and it, or rather she, kind of found me. This woman inside another inn took me aside and said that she had another room at her inn and that she would give me a discount. Even though I was very grateful and took her up on her offer, I had decided that I heard her wrong. She meant to say that they had a spare closet that they cleared up and I was welcome to stay in it. Just saying. The next day, I was feeling a lot better, so I studied a little bit, did some trekking of my own to a scenic spot, talked to a guy at a coffee/postcard spot, and hung out at this restaurant pretty much ran by teenagers. They put on a bunch of only home videos for me. I was really happy about that. And so I just waited there a little bit longer. But later that night, around 8:39-ish, the girls returned, Tong, Marvel, and Hope. And we waited at this tea place before leaving for the train station. The train was this stressful hard sleeper that ended up much longer than we expected. Morning was even more stressful because we had a 12:30 bus to catch to Yunnan, and we didn't get back in Kunming until 11. It was like Rome all over again. We ran through the station and quickly caught a taxi to the bus station. This was so rushed and stressful that I honestly don't fully remember all the details. All I know is that we made it to our sleeper bus. On the bus, we passed the time sleeping, playing cards, and talking. I personally was praying against death because my American mind was so freaked out about the safety of the whole thing, I couldn't handle it. We arrived in Yunnan 6 hours later than expected and met with a driver who took us 30 minutes away out to the mountain village where our hostel was located. It was pitch black and raining, so that was also fun. We were so exhausted and worn out, we briefly spoke with the owner and showered and passed out. Our morning consisted of more of me freaking out because we found out that there were no more buses to Kunming and we had a flight to catch the next day. After I had calmed down, I spoke to the owner, who didn't seem terribly concerned, and offered us another night. Honestly, nothing was ever truly figured out. We just decided to get to this town called Nasa and figure it out there. We took this tour around trying to see the rice terraces, but it was super foggy. Eventually we found some spots where the fog lifted and we played around taking pictures. Once we found the mecca of scenic spots, we left the terraces satisfied. Now, as if the trip wasn't stressful enough, we got to the bus station and the woman there was like yelling at us something in some dialogue. that I just don't understand. And so we took this hippie van down to Nasa, where the guy stopped to run some errands. That was funny. And he also picked up some other girls, which was cool. They were very giggly, but very helpful, and I'm glad we talked to them because they helped us find transportation to Kunming. From Nasa, we took a minibus through some mountain back roads all the way to Jianshui. It was a tight fit, very interesting. Several hours of bouncing around, we made it to the Jianshui and was transported to a sleeper bus. Huge step up in comparison. While we waited for the sleeper bus to take off, Marvel and I went out looking for Shaokao barbecue to bring back. We made it back and the bus was still there, so we thought everything was good. That is...
Little did we know, they're chicken nuts. So it's basically just like grilled chicken fat. Yeah, delicious.
Eventually, the bus took off and we rested. Around 7 a.m., we actually got off the bus and headed back to the hostel where we spent the duration of the day. We stepped out a few times, but never really went too far. Around 9:30 p.m., we had another rush because we needed to make it to the airport. We found a taxi, but this guy stopped to pick up some cigarettes, and not only that, I don't know how he was driving. He was trying to kill us or something. If he was going to do that, he could have driven faster. But I mean, I was so frustrated with the driver that I was able to work up enough words to fuss at him, and I ended up actually liking him. He had a great sense of humor. We even gave him an English name, Will. We made it to the airport with 30 minutes to spare, and then we ran up to the front desk to check in our bags, and then the woman was explaining everything about the bags to the normal spiel of an airport. And then as we were walking away, we could hear them say, 他们听不懂. And they were laughing, and then we laughed because we understood what they were saying. The trip was great. We made it safely back to Chengdu, and in spite of a much needed prescription of Valium, I wouldn't have changed a thing.